Jennifer.
Today we're in Genesis 16 through 18 on day 17 of the Bible recap.
Yep.
Starting with a quick summary, as always. 16 covers the birth of Ishmael, the child of Hagar, the servant of Sarah, or Sarai. We see that the Lord prevented Sarai from having children, and that then she thought, oh, my servants can do this, and I can have some children through her. Happens, and then there's some resentment going back and forth between Sarah and Hagar because one's able to have kids, one's not, and one's mad because they can't have kids, but they got them pregnant. Like it's a whole throuple mess. Like, and then in 17, we now see Abram is now being called Abraham. God calls him Abraham because he's now establishing his new covenant, new mark with him, that Abram is going to be a different person. He's now going to be a father of a multitude of nations. And then go through the mark of the covenant and talks about the terms of his covenant and how all his descendants have the responsibility of that covenant to keep it. And if they follow that, they will be a great nation. But he also tells them about circumcising themselves. They have to be circumcised to be in the covenant. And that is the true mark that you are in the covenant with God. Then at the end of 17, now Sarai's name gets changed to Sarah. And this is where God tells Abraham, your wife, her name will no longer be Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and give you a son from her. And it goes on, and then Abraham, he bowed and laughed, thinking, there's no way I'm going to have any kids. I'm too old. My wife's too old. Like, we're on the footsteps of death. There's no way. And then he goes to ask God, why not give it to my son Ishmael from Hagar? And God's like, no. You are going to have an heir. You're going to have a descendant through Sarai within the year, or Sarah within the year. Then Abraham follows what the Lord says, and all of the males get circumcised. The ones that were part of the family and ones that were bought into the family.
Including Abraham, who was 99.
Yeah, including Abraham. He had to go and do that to himself. How awful. That shows real commitment. I'm just going to say, I don't know if I would be able to do this at my age right now. Maybe at that age, if I don't have feeling, maybe.
They did it with no anesthesia or anything like that. Like, could you imagine? Oh.
Just some sheep shears. Imagine. Oh, goodness gracious.
Moving on.
Yep. And then 18, the son is promised to Sarah. This is where God is promising that she is going to bear a son. She's going to have an heir for Abraham, and that there's going to be many of them. But she, at the end, she laughed at God with that, and she was like, there's just no way. Like, nope, it's not happening. And God called her out real quick. He said, you laughed. She's like, nope. He's like, nope, you did. I heard you. Like, I know you did. I didn't have to be near you. I heard you. Like, how you gonna lie to God? Come on.
Could you imagine being called out? And she's like, no,
you misheard me. You misheard.
That wasn't me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one here in this tent, but that wasn't me.
And then after Sarah is promised that son, we see Abraham trying to intercede for Sodom. He is trying to see if God will lessen his wrath on them. He keeps asking this question: if there's only 40, if there's only 30, if there's only 10, if there's only 5, and God keeps saying, yeah, there's only one. If there's only one, I won't destroy them. If there's only that one, I won't destroy them. It's like he's trying to barter almost with God to try to get the best deal possible. I believe that if there was at least only one, I think at that point he would have spared them because they weren't completely wicked. There was some good there still. But I may be wrong. Like, maybe there just wasn't. And there wasn't. From what I know, Lot's only saved there because Abraham asked and begged God to save him.
Yeah.
Which does not mean that he was good. He was asked by Abraham that he loved, and God's like, I'll do this for you. But that's it.
All right, so then we can move into
Done with the summary.
Our study guide. Okay, day 17, number 1 says, look up the word angel in a Hebrew lexicon and write down what you find.
So, angel is actually a job title or a description. The angels were God's messengers. Mm-hmm. They were sent to people. We see them getting sent to Abraham, to Moses. God, there's so many of them. I can't even think of another one.
Right, but it means to send.
It means to send. Yeah. And then you look at it, to send a messenger.
Yeah.
And they're messengers of God. To send a messenger to proclaim God.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and in the one today, because it talks about the men, right? Even the men with Sarah there, but when he's asking, pretty sure somewhere it's talking about the angel again. The angel, meaning God himself.
Are you talking about when in 16 where Hagar flees, and then the angel of the Lord said to her, return to your mistress? It's in 16 verse 9.
Yes. Yeah, that one, that's God himself there.
Yeah. The angel and a angel are very different. The angel is God himself. A angel is just an angel.
Yeah, just
which I think previous day, one of them, we already covered that. There was a question about it. We did, so we should kind of all make that like aware in our brain. Like the and a, very different.
Yeah. All right, and number 2, in chapter 16, what actions, statements, or descriptors point to the angel of the Lord being God himself? See, I just knew that question was coming. So I have, 16:13 marked, which says, let's see. Thereafter, Hagar used another name to refer to the Lord who had spoken to her. She said, you are the God who sees me. She also said, have I truly seen the one who sees me? So she's asking you are the God, and have I truly seen that one? And then 16:9, angel says, I will give you many descendants. I don't think that any angel can potentially.
No, a angel will not say, I will give you. They will say, God will give you.
Right. Yeah. And
Like
that.
very there's
Yeah, because it was that
if you're not paying attention, you could probably overlook that and be like, oh, like he means God, I.
Yeah.
But no, he means me.
Yes.
God himself says, I will give you this.
Mm-hmm. And then 16:9 actually says the angel of the Lord. And we know again, the means God. So, did you see any other descriptors in that way?
So in 11, it says, the angel also said, you are now pregnant and will give birth to a son. You are to name him Ishmael, which means God hears. For the Lord has heard your cry of distress.
Okay.
Like, for the Lord, like, he heard, like, I don't know if it.
Well, I think that goes back down
like,
to.
he heard, which
Yeah.
means he's saying, like, I heard you, for the Lord hears you. So I'm here because I hear you.
Well, yeah, well, and later when she says, you are the one, you're the God that sees me, you're the one. So she's
And
obviously
she's pointing to him.
speaking,
She sees, she knows that this is God.
Right.
It's not just an angel.
This is
It
God
is God
himself.
himself.
Yeah. So, number 3, circumcision affects the most personal part of a man's anatomy, which also happens to be the means by which he bears offspring. How is this a fitting symbol for God's relationship with the Israelites? So I have that, maybe it's by giving the most precious part of yourself to God, and then you follow his words and he will bless you, with all these children, right? But you have to first give that part, you have to offer that part up.
I put God first, give him all.
Yeah.
Like, give him everything. Because to us, it's kind of like our everything. Like, I don't know if I want to give you my family jewels, man. Like, it's one of those things, like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, can I show you my commitment some other way? Like, I got a snip at 80 years old? I don't know. Like, it shows real faith with that he could do that and be like, yep, let's do it. I'm assuming Abraham did his last, though.
Maybe.
He probably put it off like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
He could have.
It's going to hurt.
You would think, because, maybe he would be tired from it, so maybe he did last, but. Number 4, because that's a little. Ugh. In chapter 18, God seems to appear to Abraham as a man. Angels have also appeared as men. What actions, statements, or descriptors point to this being God, not just any man or angel? Okay, so.
The part about him knowing that Sarah laughed.
Yeah.
Like, that's a clear, like, how'd you know? An angel's not just going to know.
Yeah.
Like, just be like, yep, I know you laughed in there. The angel can't see that, can't hear that, because angel's not God. Not all knowing, not all powerful, not all hearing. Like, angel just can't. But yeah. Because she laughed, and God was like, you laughed. I know you did. And then she said, no, you didn't. And then he was like, you did. And that was it. She didn't say nothing else. She's like, well, dang. He is God. He heard me.
I noticed that it was 3 men that appear. So it's almost like the Holy Trinity is there.
Yeah.
Like
God the Father,
God the Son, and
God
the
the
Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Like, because when Abraham looks up, and he sees them. He's like, oh, it's you. And, he knows it, which is strange because
And
there's three of
it's
them.
you. He doesn't say it's you guys or y'all.
Yeah.
He says
yeah,
you. One.
Yeah.
That's a plural.
Yeah.
Or
So.
not a plural. What is it?
Singular?
Yeah, it's a singular.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't say, I see you men or you people. It's
you guys,
you.
yeah.
I see you.
And he bows to the ground. He's like showing them, or showing God, respect in that way. But it's immediately, which is strange because if it's three of them, you know, how does he know? But he does. So, and the fact that he talks about the promises that he's already talked about before to Sarah and Abraham, and then
in verse 3 he says, "My Lord."
Yeah.
If it pleases you, rest here for a while. He doesn't say, like, he's not talking to multiple people at this point.
Yeah, he's just speaking to one person. So, but that's all for today's questions.
I think it's kind of crazy. Like in 18, verse 17, this is God talking with his self. I feel like, should I hide my plan from Abraham? For Abraham will certainly become a great nation, and all the nations of the world will be blessed through him. I have singled him out so that he will direct his sons and their families of the way of the Lord.
So in 16 it says, then the men got up from their meal. So this is where all three of them are sitting and eating. So all three of them get up and God is talking to himself. But it's not himself. He's talking to God the Son and God the Holy Spirit as God the Father. And they're trying to work it out amongst themselves. Like, hey, do you think I should, hide this from him? Or do you think I should include him in this plan? So it is, yes, talking to himself, but he is that 3 in 1, and he literally came in three different
he finally
forms.
decides, like, I'm going to tell him, and this is what's going on. I'm about to destroy this place because they're wicked.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll be into our journals. So today, for the things you loved, learned, and noticed, I had that, the 3 men appeared to Abraham as the Lord, and God actually listens to Abraham about the pleas for Sodom. He's able to kind of go back and forth with him. And, and he didn't just ask one time.
He asked the same thing over and over and over again.
He just kept going like,
You could imagine God was getting frustrated. Like, dude, just stop. Why not just jump to what you really want to ask at the very end of it?
Well, no, because it's like a little kid. A little kid, when they're like, can I have just one more piece? You give them one more, and they come, okay, what about one more? And it keeps kind of going, So you would think after.
And it doesn't say nothing about God being frustrated or anything. He's just like, yep.
It's like, all right, I can do that. If I find one, okay. If I find, whatever, like, yeah, it's neat. So he's very patient.
Yeah, very patient.
Like, questions or things that you want to research. Yeah. So my question when we first read it was, like, why 3 men? And my question is, do they represent that Holy Trinity? Because that's kind of what it leads me to believe. Is that what we're trying to get there?
That was my question too.
Yeah.
Why 3 men?
Yeah, I think it. Like I said, I want to. But
then looking back,
Holy
like
Trinity.
It talks about like how Abraham says, "My Lord." He doesn't say "my lords." He says "my Lord." There's only one.
Yeah.
So it points to that. That's just God Himself, and possible that it's probably the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
Because you believe what the Bible's. Jesus was there in the beginning. Mm-hmm. In John 1, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. And He was with them. talking about Jesus. Like Jesus was there.
Yeah.
Which means it's very likely that Jesus was here in this time too.
Well, yeah, well, he was. So I think, my feeling is that when God comes down, typically in flesh form, in any part of the stories, it's technically God the Son coming down, which would be Jesus.
I forget who I watched, what preacher it was, but he says about like the burning bush when they're talking to Moses or to Elijah. The one that is talking is Jesus himself. I wish I could remember who it was because they said it way better than I just said it. But like it makes you think, like, yeah, like Jesus was there every step of the way, not just once he was flesh on earth and was birthed, but all of it.
So I have that, it's an ESV version, but it's the Jesus Bible. And it's supposed to help you see where Jesus was every step of the way. So I bet you that would be something that would be neat to really dig into. All right, and now our God shot. So I have God listens, and he's a generous God. He allows us to ask questions, and he's patient.
I got he's patient.
Yeah,
he's patient because with our kids, they ask the same thing 20 million times. I get a little frustrated.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
maybe after the 5th time, it's like, why are you still asking the same question? Stop.
Especially when you've already given an answer, and
Yeah.
then, so it's like,
Like, why do I have to keep giving this answer?
Yeah, that would be.
But every time God's answer didn't change, but the question changed.
Yeah. Slightly.
Maybe that shows us how we should maybe be as parents. Like they keep asking, you keep giving the same answer, even if they change the question.
Yeah, by just
like,
maybe a one word.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, no more questions. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Put that in there. No more questions. Question booth is closed.
You can write me a letter.
We get back to you 10 to 12 business days.
That's all for, day 17. So we're about to see the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, and
it's a coming quick. Thank y'all for coming to Unbreakable Faith.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.